Let me ask y'all a question. Do you sleep? I certainly don't. I'm filming this right now. It's 2:48 in the morning. I don't think I've had an actual night's rest in, I don't know, 6, maybe 8 months. Here's what winds up happening with me. Maybe some of y'all can relate. I wind up laying down, giving myself like an hour, right? I need to be asleep within an hour because when I wake up, then I have a proper amount of sleep. And it is no doubt 2 to 3 hours before I go to sleep, if I'm lucky. And then, wake up 20 times. Each of those times you're up probably 20 minutes. So I begun dosing myself heavily, right? So it started with melatonin, right? Taking just handfuls of that. And then it became melatonin mixed with edibles, right? Making my own edibles. We're going to talk more about that here in the near future, so I don't want to spoil that. But melatonin, edibles, that worked for all of 5 days. Then it was melatonin, edibles mixed with muscle relaxers. So that's what I'm doing right now. And oh boy, it rarely works. I'm talking like when I get up super early, right? So my alarm clock goes off at like 4:35. I'm telling you, when I wake up at that time, if you tell me it's only 10:30 at night, I'd completely believe you. So I've gotten into the habit where I have to put like a show on, right? Because I'm going to be in bed for so long. I've been listening to Matthew Cox. He does interviews of like scammers or, people, smugglers, dealers, manufacturers, whatever. They do their time. They come out, they tell their tale. So super interesting. So at least I have something going on there, and maybe y'all can relate. I'm one of them type of people, like I can go through my whole day carefree. Nothing matters. I'm just good to go. And then when I lay down like every problem in the world, it is now time to solve that right now. Mine going just 90 to nothing. There's freaking weed all over this table. Fucking Thomas. What was I saying? Every problem in the world comes just tumbling down on me and needs to be solved at that point. That's why I miss alcohol. Anybody who knows me from my past, I used to be just bananas on alcohol. The thing about alcohol is, though, it shuts off the voices, right? Like that pestering doubt or over planning or, well, if they do this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go here, and what if this, all of that, nair. Alcohol just shuts that off, right? I mean, you drink a few glasses of whiskey, and you can actually get some real sleep. So I think that's what I actually miss about alcohol. You know what I mean? But I mean, I've been out the game so long, I wouldn't even be able to hang. I'm sure I have a glass of whiskey now, and I'm just a sick little boy. So my days are spent working 2 jobs, and then my nights are spent, laying in bed, but never actually going to sleep. I thought about getting one of them, them Fitbits that actually tell you how much REM sleep you get. But it just kind of seems like I'm going to be paying like $100 to be told you need more sleep, asshole. One thing I have become accustomed to, though, is being awake for all those hours, doing nothing effectively. I have become comfortable with the silence. When I was younger, silence to me was just the worst thing. No matter what was going on, I need to have music blaring. I need to have a TV on. I need to have a conversation going. I needed to be around people. I needed this, that, and everything, But now I found peace in the silence. Just something calming. But I think a lot of that comes from just living alone, right? It's just me and a puppy. Like, when I work, I work from home, I'm self-employed. So realistically, if I don't want to talk to anyone, I can go 2-3 days easily without saying a word. So it's just being comfortable in that silence. But it's built itself into like when I have conversations with people now, I'm okay with just someone sitting there and just being in the silence, but I can also feel like the awkwardness just radiating off of other people who maybe don't feel the same way. But I am starting to feel like one of the lost children of Elm Street these days. Definitely not firing on all cylinders. Not being able to get that sleep just slows you down. I'm starting to think I need to flip it up, like flip the script on it, where instead of even trying to get 8 hours of sleep, just try to get like 3 hours of sleep and just be one of them freaking weirdos who's up for, 21 hours, sleeps for 3, maybe 4, and then am good, ready to conquer the day. Because I'll tell you what, when I wake up every morning, I feel like a biker gang just booted my teeth in. You know what I mean? So I got the, it doesn't even have a brand name. It's just extra caffeine coffee. You know what I'm saying? So throw the Keurig on first thing in the morning, do 2 cups of that, and that'll give you a pretty big boost. But yeah, I'm tranking myself every night. I did see on like a YouTube short or something where there was the Navy SEAL breathing method. I don't remember exactly what it was. It's like 4 breaths in, then exhale it for 7 seconds, hold it for so many seconds. And really, I was just laying in bed sounding like an asshole. It didn't do much for me. I just really didn't get the benefit from it. The only thing I haven't tried is the prescription sleeping pills, right? But yeah, I'm taking handful of melatonin. Like I say, we'll throw in a little THC, pain pill or 2 if needed, and then like an hour and a half later, I take the same dose again. So essentially, if you don't get that sleep to correct yourself from taking the melatonin, downers, whatever, it's not a good situation. It's a wake up hunt over. But it's also where situations where problems you try to put off, when you're just alone with yourself at that point, that's when they really come up. Like I made the cardinal mistake of lending a close friend money, right? Close friend's a bit of a stretch, but I used to be super poor, like paycheck to paycheck, and now that the businesses have taken off and whatnot, I do try to help people. If you looked at the amount of single mothers whose Christmases I covered, it's bananas. You know what I mean? But I always try to throw it back to those who have been around me who were still in the place that I was. But man, it's this, grown folk who just have this poor mentality where everything's an excuse. And if they feel like they should have something like I don't know, they want to go out to a movie or a new video game or a bag of herb or, going out to eat, whatever it is, they can't understand that, hey, my bank account says $12, or let's say bank account says $50. But if they go out to do that, then they're out of money. The same type of people who are like, if they get paid on Friday and it's Wednesday and they're like, well, I still got $100 in my bank account. What can I go do? It's like, motherfucker, you are broke if you only have $100 in your bank account. You should be doing absolutely nothing. Everything should be shut off. And like, that's Thomas isn't the one I lent the money to, but that's a trait I've tried to teach him is that, hey, when you're that low, you got to build, right? It's keeping away from this gluttonous mentality of, I want this, so I have to have it. And then you get into the charge card game and then you're just absolutely sunk. I have enough money that I could buy, I don't want to say anything because that obviously isn't it, but anything I would want. And I just choose not to. Like I just bought a $200, $200 or $300 item. It's involved in the edibles and creating them. Like I say, it's something we're going to get further into on a coming up episode. I got some static coming into my headphones. There we go, little connector. It's the mentality that like even that $200-$300 purchase, I could buy 100 of them. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter, but I sit and pondered and found the right sell, because It's so recent enough for me being that broke that I still remember exactly what it feels like, and I'm not going back to that. Nonetheless, what I'm trying to get at is that I lent someone a little under 500 bucks. It was an emergency and they had to have it, and it was a constant calling and messaging and trying to get a hold of me, like majorly going out of their way to make sure we made contact, right? And we sit down and we had a still getting a buzzing. We had a long conversation about it. Like, hey, I want that same energy when it's time to pay me back. This is the day you're paying me back. And of course, every time anybody wants money from you, they already have the exact plan. You'll definitely have it on this day. And that is a way to test a friendship, because if I tell you I'm going to have something to you, and let's say I think I'm going to be short, I cut my life off. I'm not doing anything. I'm not spending a dollar till you get your money back. But not everyone shares that same energy, let's say. So, date came last Thursday, maybe, that he was supposed to pay me back. Of course, not even a text message, not anything. So I waited, and, I kind of started feeling a little bitter, but I was like, shit happens, whatever. So another day goes by, and then another day, and still nothing. So I contact him. I shoot him a text. I don't get a response for like a day and a half, and it's real vague. It's, hey, something happened, da 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 da. And we have mutual friends, so I know nothing, major has happened. But it is weird, like I say, that energy people have when they need something, they need that money, and they got to get a hold of you. And oh my God, this is such an emergency. And then that same energy isn't shared when it's time to pay you back. So now I'm going to have to go handle the situation. It's no doubt I'll get my money back. I'm not really super concerned about that. It's just like the kind of, fuck it. We'll call it what it is. It's a disrespect. It's one thing. You could call me up on that day and have a good excuse, and that's all fine. I typically have money out in a bunch of different directions. Like I say, I do like to help those around me. But yeah, you kind of see really where you stand with people. And like this person, for example, like I say, I have no doubt I'll get my money back, but they'll never get money from me again, And not just that, I'll overall just distance myself from that person just because of that. And that's a lot of reason. There's a lot of people I enjoy that I just don't lend money to. Like back with Thomas, if like Thomas comes to me and he needs something, I'll lend him money as long as it's something real, but our financial situations aren't, we're not in the exact same spot. So, if he were to come to me and like, hey, I need a third PS5 for the house, or fuck, it might be his fourth PS5 if he gets another one. If he were to say that, I'll probably just flat out say no, because, take that money and build, you know what I mean? Get the credit cards, pay all your bills. That's what I always say. Anybody who's grown and is bitching about shitty credit can go fuck themselves, I've dug myself out of every hole, medical, whatnot. And it's really just super simple, especially those who have never really had bad credit, just don't have any credit. It's always the double pay credit card thing. You get a credit card, you pay every single one of your bills on that card, but you do the double payment. So let's say you're on your phone, you're paying your electric bill, you pay it with your credit card, then you immediately pay that amount, pay your credit card back from your bank account. So it's still just using the money you have, but you're building that credit. It's super easy stuff. But yeah, I guess these are the ramblings of a madman who feels like haven't slept in a decade. And for me, work starts in a little, what would it be? Little over 2 hours. I guess it goes back to that old saying, I will sleep when I'm dead.